Bueno, hola, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Malena. Vamos a empezar la clase más o menos. Ya son 13 minutos, así que creo que es un buen momento de arrancar. Les voy a pedir, si pueden, los que puedan, que prendan la cámara por varias razones. Que la primera es que me siento sola y la segunda es que para esta materia en especial es muy importante ver los gestos y para poder ayudarlos. Es como que si con solo el audio tenemos la mitad y si las vemos podemos ver qué están haciendo mal y cómo corregirlos. Bueno, les cuento un poco de la modalidad de esta clase. Ahí estoy agregando a alguien más. Esta clase va a ser teórico-práctica. Vamos a hablar desde los conceptos generales de fonética 2, que no sé si ya hicieron fonética 1, pero bueno, esto es un poco más que lo que venían viendo de solo sonidos, de solo sounds and phonemes. Ahora vamos a ver suprasegmental features. Y bueno, vamos a ver qué va saliendo, pero vamos a empezar desde 000, así que si no hicieron fonética 2 todavía, les va a servir, porque vamos a empezar desde los conceptos y después vamos a ir a lo práctico, porque creemos que solo sabiendo los conceptos primero podemos ir a lo práctico. Esta clase la voy a estar dando yo y la va a estar dando Seba, que si querés puedes desconectar tu micrófono y hablar y presentarte.
Bueno, me llamo Sebastián Pusenix y voy a estar ayudándola a Male con las clases de apoyo de Fone 2, así que bueno, nada, es un placer y un gusto poder ayudarlos en lo que sea necesario.
Claro, bueno, Seba y yo, además de ser estudiantes de acá de la Facu de Tradus, somos también estudiantes de Joaquín B. González y bueno, venimos acá a dar un poco una mano porque tenemos los dos enfoques y porque también nos gusta la enseñanza, ¿verdad? En fin, si quieren podemos ir arrancando. Ahora está, esperen que monitoreé más. Now I will switch to English. So, yes, so phonology 2 is related to the topic of intonation. So I will share my screen and so we can discuss what is intonation and so we can sort out the mystery. Here I will share my screen, wait a second. I've prepared a nice PowerPoint. Please, if you can open your cameras, it will be very helpful, please. And of course, you will participate. The aim of this class is that you participate and that you get to know the tones and the intonation of English by practicing. Okay, so share screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. I think you can. Okay, wait a sec because I'm a grandmother with technology. Yep. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Yep. So you can all see my screen? I cannot see you, so let me know.
It's perfectly fine, Male.
Okay, thank you. Of course, you can interrupt me all the times you want. You can open your mic. In fact, please open your mic because it is very lonely to deliver a class without seeing you or without listening to you. So please. Okay, so phonology 2, intonation and prosodic features. So we will kick off with the question of what is intonation. So is any of you familiar with this term? Are you in phonology? Are you in phonology 2 or are you in phonology 1 or have you started the course of studies? Could you tell me this? And no? Please open your mic. Okay. Wait a sec. Okay, Lucas is in Fono 1. What about you, Vale? Are you in Fono 1 or 2?
First off, I'm in the library, so I'm sorry if you can hear a lot of voices. I actually am not in either of those classes. I didn't really tell you, but I kind of accidentally um, how do you say it? Make me in the classes.
You sign up? Yeah?
Um, yes.
No
And
worries.
well, I'm here.
We're
I
glad.
thought that maybe it could be beneficial to me to just even like listen to the classes.
Of course, it will. It will be beneficial because we'll start from the very beginning. So don't worry. This is a process. So you're here, and we are very happy to have you. Okay. So I will. So we have to start with from scratch. So okay, intonation. What is intonation? O'Connor defines intonation as the pitch patterns of spoken English, the speech tunes or melodies, or the musical features of English. It is the pitch variation over an utterance. I will say that I object to this definition. I don't know what you think, Seva, but to me,
I think it's rather poor, maybe,
it is,
to
right?
just claim that intonation is, the pitch patterns of spoken English.
Yeah, because in fact, there are features of intonation that has nothing to do with pitch, and it is intonation as well. So, to me, this is a poor definition, but I've included that there because it is on the booklet. By the way, pitch. Are you familiar with the term pitch? No? No idea? I can see you, please. So open your mic. Okay. Pitch is the vibration of the vocal cords. When the vibration is very high, my pitch will be very high, and when my pitch is very low, my voice, my vocal cords will be very low, and I will speak like this. Okay, so it's how rapidly my vocal cords vibrate, right? And everyone has a pitch. It is related to our voice. Okay. So before I said that intonation is a prosodic feature. What is this? A prosodic feature is a phenomenon that spreads over more than one segment. A segment is a phoneme, right? Well, you didn't attend to Fono 1, but a phoneme is a sound, let's say, in a very broad definition, a sound in isolation. Well, you need to attend to phonetics 1, but there are vowels and consonants, and every sound, for example, a phoneme is the sound, for example, pa, okay, is the sound in isolation, okay? A segment also can be related to allophones, which is the sound but in context, what we actually produce, okay? But prosodic features apply over more than one segment. So that's the difference between Fono 1 that deals with segmental features, features that are applied over the phoneme or the allophone, and prosodic features that are applied for more than one. Okay, they apply over the level of the syllable, of the word, of the phrase, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and that's why, as they apply above the level of segment, that they are also called suprasegmental features. Seva, anything to add? Would you like to add something?
Maybe, yeah. In other words, it's more related to the musicality of the language. This is what phonetics 2 deals with. But again, in a very broad sense, it's not just music, let's say.
Yeah, of course. So we can go on with the characteristics. We say that intonation is systematic because we cannot invent it. It's significant because it brings about a change in meaning, that we will talk about this in a second, but it is also characteristic because every language has one, okay? English has its characteristic intonation, Spanish has a characteristic intonation, every language has one, but we cannot invent it. I mean, it is not invented by the speaker, let's say. And well, I said that intonation brings about a change in meaning. We have to clarify here that it brings about an intonational meaning, but not a lexical one. Because, in fact, there are languages that bring about a change in meaning through intonation. For example, Chinese, when the Chinese intonation brings about a lexical meaning. If we use a certain tone, we can say cat or dog, for example. This is an example. I don't know Chinese. In the case of English, it is an intonational language because it does not bring about a change of meaning of the word, but it brings about some other meanings. For example, we use intonation to distinguish different grammatical structures or to break the utterance into chunks, what I was saying. This is tonality, we will talk about that. We use intonation to focus into one part of the whole IP or to express attitudes, etc., etc. But we do not use intonation in English to change the meaning of a word, right? So this takes us to the 3 T's. So we say that intonation is made up of 3 T's. That Seba may want to say something about this. Seba?
No, this is part of the system of intonation, you know, the 3 T's. Well, I think you're about to talk about them. Tonality, tonicity, and tone. So, go ahead.
Okay. We use tonality to divide the text into chunks. What is a chunk? Okay, in units, we divide our spoken speech into units of information, right? Why? Because we run out of air, or maybe because we want to bring about a difference in meaning. We'll discuss about neutral tonality, theme and rhyme, and marked tonality. Neutral tonality, in broad sense, is that we tend to chunk clauses. I think you're familiar with the term of clause because we've studied this in grammar, but this is all connected to that. Clauses tend to be chunked. But that's not only the only way we chunk. We can also chunk theme and rhyme. Theme is normally the subject and rhyme is the predicate. Again, it is related to grammar. And in fact, this explains why people tend to place a comma, which is wrong, between subject and predicate. Why? Because we tend to make a pause. But we do not write a comma when we discuss grammar. We just do it naturally when we speak, right? And I think I have to let somebody in, so wait a sec. Danny. Hello, Danny. Welcome. We are discussing the 3 T's of intonation. Okay, so we use tonality to divide our spoken speech. We do it naturally. And in this case, I would say that some speakers, this is not a fixed rule. Speakers tend this is not a fixed rule, this is a tendency about when we talk about neutral tonality and the way that we chunk, clauses as units of information. This is a tendency, but every speaker makes their own choice here, I would say. But most of them, they chunk clauses, they chunk theme and rime. There's also something called marked tonality when, for example, adjuncts, I will talk in grammatical terms. Adjuncts, when they are placed at the beginning and there is a comma, well, that's marked tonality. That comma signals that there must be a pause there, and it is a chunk, okay? Okay, the second T that we will discuss over this course is tonicity, which is defined as the choice of a nucleus by placing an accent. Okay, we have to make a point here of what the heck is a nucleus and what the heck is an accent, right? We say that the nucleus is the most important part of the IP. Why? Because it is defined as the pitch initiator. What the heck is this? Okay. The pitch initiator is when our pitch moves. As I said, our pitch is the vibration of the vocal cords. So, we will say that in a particular syllable, our pitch will move, will change. And tonicity is related to the choice of the syllable by we play the accent, which is, in fact, the pitch movement. And here, in some other class, we will discuss the concepts of broad and narrow focus. Broad focus is the tendency that we tend to place the accent in the last lexical item, right? And what we're communicating by placing the accent on the last lexical item is, okay, pay attention to everything. All that I'm saying, all the things I'm saying is important. Everything is important. So you have to pay attention to everything. But whenever we place an accent in another lexical item, which is not the last one, or in another, and it hasn't got to do a lexical item, maybe it can be a non-lexical item, we talk about narrow focus. Narrow focus, by narrow focus, we say that we are communicating to the listener that the listener must pay attention to only a part of our speech, not everything. A part of the IP, not everything, okay? So, this is related, we use narrow focus for contrast or old information. Again, we will discuss this in detail in some other class because it's a lot. But this is the introduction to tonicity, tonality, and tone. The last T is tone. And it is related to, okay, what pitch movement I'm going to use, right? I can use a rise, or I can use a fall. So my voice will rise, or my voice will fall. Or I can use a fall rise, or I can use a fall rise. Can you see, can you listen how my voice falls and then rise? For example, I can use a fall rise, okay. Again, we bring about a difference in meaning. And here we will talk about textile function, how we use tone to divide our text, to connect IPs. We will use tones to give or to receive information, to give information, this transactional function, to be polite, to decide to not be polite, social formulas, or to suasion is related to whenever we want to have an effect on somebody else. So that's suasion. We use tone for different purposes. Okay? Seba, would you like to add something?
No, I think this is okay. So,
Okay. So, today, as an introduction, I wanted to discuss tonality for the first time and how tonality brings about a change in meaning. Okay? So, I will ask you to open your mics, please. Wait a sec. Okay. So, here you can see some sentences, some in Spanish and some in English. And we've erased all commas. Think about how would you read this? How you would read this? How you would chunk the sentence? For example, number 1. How would you chunk it? Let me see. Wait a sec. Vale, how would you chunk sentence number 1? Can you read this?
Yes, I will chunk it. My brother who lives in Canada, the like invisible comma, let's say, is funny. I will chunk it like that.
Okay, you would make a pause here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Another possible interpretation, another possible way to chunk this.
And maybe by my brother who lives in Canada. I will make another pause there after my brother.
It's exactly. And what's the difference here in meaning? What does the pause says? What does the pause say? Sorry.
That in one you're focusing on the fact that it's my brother, and the other one that you're focusing on that she's funny.
No, I think there's something else. What's the difference between saying, my brother who lives in Canada is funny, or my brother who lives in Canada is funny?
That he lives in Canada. Right?
What is this?
maybe you can think of it as defining and non-defining relative clauses. There's a difference in meaning there. So maybe.
What's the difference between a relative clause and a non-defining relative clause? A defining relative clause or a non-defining relative clause?
I have no idea.
Okay. So,
I'm sorry.
No worries. As we were saying, we use intonation to differentiate different grammatical structures. This is a clear example. Here, if we make a pause between my brother, who lives in Canada, we are saying that this clause is a non-defining relative clause. Here, I've got only one brother, right? This is something that you will have to, if you are sitting for the exam, this is a key topic for the entrance examination. Here I've got only one brother because the relative clause is adding information and it is not defining my brother. But if we erase the commas and we don't make a pause, if we chunk it like you said first, my brother who lives in Canada is funny, or my brother who lives in Canada is funny, that's okay. This clause is defining. So here I'm saying that I have got more than one brother and one of them lives in Canada. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
¿Sí? Si no, pregúntame, please.
No, sí, sí,
Perfecto. Let's see. Danny, are you there? Danny, are you there? Would you like to participate? Tell me. No? Okay. If you want to participate, please open your mic. Okay, number 2. This is Spanish. How would you chunk this? There are 2 possible interpretations for this sentence.
Después del tenga, o sea, no tenga clemencia.
Okay, you would chunk here?
Yes.
Well, this is something you cannot do because you cannot separate verb and object. Okay, you cannot do this. Either in Spanish and English, you cannot do this. Think about
Tal
this.
vez no hay nada para separar.
Okay, first possibility, this is all a chunk. No tenga clemencia. This is an order. You are ordering someone, para que no tenga clemencia. Pero, ¿qué pasa si acá lo chanqueo? Si acá pongo una coma, en otras palabras.
Claro, cambiaría el significado.
Exactly, it's the opposite. No, tenga clemencia. ¿Se entiende? Como intonation brings about a change in meaning, even with chunking. And besides, something I didn't say because I forgot about it, is that every chunk, every unit of information, every IP has its own pattern of intonation. I mean, there will be only one nucleus. It will have a nucleus, a head, an onset, okay, or only a nucleus, at least one nucleus. So here there would be a fall and no, tenga clemencia, and here another nucleus. Anyway, can you read number 3, please?
He spoke to me honestly.
Okay, 2 possibilities.
After me, he spoke to me honestly.
Yeah, that's a possibility. If I say, he spoke to me honestly, what am I saying?
That he actually spoke to me. I don't know, like
Yeah,
I don't know if that
exactly.
makes sense.
He spoke to me honestly, please believe me, okay? And what if I say, he spoke to me honestly? If I don't make a separation there.
That means that when he talked to me, he didn't lie. He said the truth.
Exactly. He was honest when he spoke to me. And this is from Cortázar. Where would you make a pause? Pause, sorry.
Después de andaría.
Ok, vamos a leerlo. Si el hombre supiera realmente el valor que tiene la mujer, andaría en 4 patas en su búsqueda. I wouldn't place a comma here.
Después de mujer.
After mujer?
Sí.
Okay, yes. Well, Cortázar said something like, if you're a woman, you would place a comma after mujer, after woman. So you say, si el hombre supiera realmente el valor que tiene la mujer, andaría en 4 patas en su búsqueda. ¿Quién andaría en 4 patas en su búsqueda? El hombre, ¿verdad? But, Cortázar said, if you're a man, you would place the comma here. Si el hombre supiera realmente el valor que tiene, la mujer andaría en 4 patas en su búsqueda. So, the subject here is la mujer of the second clause. Do you understand the difference of the comma?
Yes.
Si el hombre supiera realmente el valor que tiene, o sea, el mismo, la mujer andaría en 4 patas en su búsqueda. So that's the power of a comma. And this is totally related to chunking and tonality, because whenever there's a comma, there will be a chunk, okay? That's absolutely the rule. But there may be chunks that don't have a comma, okay? So when you see a comma, it's a chunk. But if there is not a comma, there may be a chunk as well. ¿Alguna pregunta? Seba, ¿querés decir algo? Perdón, que estoy monopolizando la clase.
Yeah, maybe that you have to bear in mind that this is the way your brain, let's say, process, information. So this is very important. That's why they change in meaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
so, any question? No?
No.
Okay, great. So we can go on. Okay, so we said that every chunk is an IP. This is an intonation phrase or unit of intonation, and we said that every chunk and every IP has its own intonation pattern, right? There's always, in every IP, there's always a tonic syllable, which is the nucleus. And as we said before, it is the pitch movement initiator. Again, the tonic syllable is usually the last lexical item in an IP. Are you familiar with the term lexical? Do you know what lexical means?
No.
Okay, this is related to meaning. Okay, lexical item is something that has meaning. They are content words. I don't know, Seba, can you explain it a bit better, because I'm a bit rusty on this.
do you mean like the anatomy of the IP?
No, I mean lexical.
Just
how would you define lexical?
the last lexical item.
Yeah, but what's
Well, mainly,
lexical?
I mean, yeah, you should focus on what lexical items are and what content words are, because there's a difference. I mean, lexical items can be nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, and I think that's it, right? Then
Yep.
content words are, we can say, like devoid of meaning. For example, prepositions. Well, not devoid of meaning, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
But
in fact, I would say that lexical item and content words are the same, but you are making the difference between lexical items and functional items, right?
yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
thank you. So we have prepositions. Then
Determiners.
Determiners, pronouns.
Yeah, and that's it. Verbs are usually
yeah,
lexical items. One exception is the verb to be, because it has not lexical content, the verb to be. In fact, when we say a sentence and we skip the verb to be, you understand the meaning of the sentence. If I say, I bored, you understand that I am bored. So the verb to be is not a lexical item, but verbs, nouns, adverbs, we will discuss about adverbs anyway, but they are lexical items. Then what else? Adjectives are lexical items, okay, but determiners are not lexical items. Pronouns are not lexical items. Well, the verb to be. Prepositions are not considered lexical items. In phonetics, in grammar, they are, but in phonetics, it is not. They are not, sorry. So that's it. Sarah, would you like to go ahead with the anatomy of IP?
Okay, so we have, on the one hand, the onset. The onset refers to the first accented syllable before the nucleus. I don't know if we have an example so that maybe we can analyze it.
Yep, I have an example later on.
Okay, generally the onset, but can you just, yeah, maybe that's gonna be better. Yeah. So here we have the onset. In this case, is go. The onset, auditorily speaking, represents, let's say, a step up. Okay, a step up. For example, if you read, I go to school by bus, can you listen to the difference in pitch? Your pitch goes higher. I go to school by bus, You see? So, auditorily speaking, that's the onset. And there are certain words that tend to be the onset. Of course, lexical items, but also, for example, negatives can be, or generally,
Negative
attract,
contractions like
or,
don't, can't,
yeah,
and everything.
and those words tend to be the onset. Okay, so this is like the step up. Okay, then from the onset, that is go up to bus, which is the nucleus, all that is called the head. So my voice doesn't, let's say, change my pitch, in fact, not my voice. So I go to school by bus, You see, like go to school by bus, And as Malice said, nucleus, you can perceive it by the pitch movement. I go to school by bus, You see, bus. So it's the pitch movement initiator. Okay, that's the nucleus. And what about the prehead? Because we have an onset, a head, and a nucleus. Well, okay, the prehead, in this case, is the pronoun I, okay, and it's lower as regards its pitch. Maybe you can listen to it. I go to school by bus, So can you perceive it auditorily? So I go to school by bus,
Would you like to repeat the sentence? Try
Yeah.
to imitate Valu. Creo que se llama Valu, ¿no? No te veo. Vale.
Yes. I go to school by bus. No, I don't think that's right.
Wait a second.
I
I
go to
go
school
to
by
school by
bus.
bus,
You know?
Repeat. I go to school by bus,
I go to school by bus, Mm,
Don't go up and, stay low. I go to school by bus,
I go to school by bus, No, I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's
You
okay.
know?
It's okay. One more time.
I go to school by bus,
You are going up. Stay low.
She's using the dummy rise.
Yep. It's okay. I mean, it could be a rise there, but here it's very low.
I go to school by bus, No.
Okay, no worries. We will practice this with some other example. But it's okay. You are going up at the end. Just stay low for you to know. Okay. Any question regarding the concepts of prehead, onset, head, nucleus, and tail?
No.
Okay. Excellent. Something else you wanted to say, Seba? Perdón.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So, just summing up. Just to sum up, sorry. The tonic syllable is the pitch movement initiator. Onset, the first accented syllable. Head, from the onset to the nucleus. Pre-head, what comes before the head. It is unstressed, in this case I. And tail, what comes after the nucleus. And it is non-prominent. Okay. So, now, as I said, we will... Do we have time? Okay, we can maybe... Yeah, I will explain the concept and then I will let you go. Okay? Or maybe, Seba, would you like to explain the low drop? This is a tone, by the way.
So, okay, in English, as Mali said, there are different tones. We have falling tones, and this is one case of these falling tones. Okay, so this one is called the low drop. So, okay, normally you're gonna find a low pre-head, like as in I go to school. I go to school by bus, you know. So I is very low, and then with the onset there's a step up. Okay, so I go to school by, and then when you reach the nucleus, your voice goes, you know, very, very low in pitch. Okay, so I go to school by bus, you know, or by bus, you know. Okay.
Can you repeat, Balu?
Yeah.
The sentence.
Yep.
I go to school by bus, you know?
Okay, bus, you know.
What? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Repeat after the nucleus if you can. So, bus, you know. As if you were not interested. That's the attitude. Bus.
I go to school by bus, you know?
Okay. From the nucleus up to the tail. So, bus, you know.
Bus, you know?
Bus, you know. Es como si a vos te cuentan, o sea, no te interesa, ¿entendés? Contarle al otro.
Sí. Bus, you know? No.
Okay.
No.
You're being
Más o menos,
too
¿no?
convergent. Sos demasiado polite. Ese es el problema. Bus, you know. Bus, you know.
Bus, you know?
Bus, you know.
Bus, you know?
Better. Bus, you know.
Bus, you know? No.
Bus,
Say
you know.
No, it's okay.
A bit lower.
Don't you worry, it's practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so quick. Do it very, very slowly. Bus,
Okay.
you know. Bus, you know.
Bus, you know?
Bus, you know. No.
Bus, you know?
Okay, but but do you feel you're like rising towards the end?
Yes.
The pitch, because you're saying boss, you know. This is what you're saying. Boss, you know, and it should be boss, you know.
Okay, I will change this. I will say that the tail is fathead. So we make it more explicit. That you don't like this person, you hate this person, and you just want to shut up the other person. So you say, I go to school by bus, fathead. You are very angry.
I go to school by bus, butthead.
Very good.
I
With
said
more...
butthead instead of
con
butthead.
odio, decilo con odio. I go to school by bus, fathead.
I go to school by bus, fathead.
Mejor. Oh no, se va.
Okay, now don't stop between the nucleus and the tail, because otherwise you can perceive like
Yeah.
as if you were chunking it.
This is all together.
Bus.
I go to school by bus. Fathead.
You are
Kind
coming
of.
up.
No, not. I'm not there yet.
It's okay.
I go to school by bus. Fathead.
Bus fathead. Decí solo bus fat. Bus fathead.
Yeah, isolate. Yeah.
Bus fathead. No.
It's
Can
okay.
you repeat it one more time?
What?
Can you repeat it one more time, like how you will say
Yes,
it?
Seba, go ahead.
Okay. I go to school by bus, fathead.
I go to school by bus, fathead.
Good.
Okay.
Better.
Now let's try to lower it. So I go to school by bus, fathead.
I go to school by bus, fathead.
Okay,
No.
but just try to join bus and fathead. Okay.
Bus.
Pensá como quizás te ayuda esto. Pensá como que lo estás insultando y no querés que escuche. O sea, lo haces más bajito. Y te quedas bajito. Como que le estás
Okay.
sacando el cuero por detrás.
I go to school by bus, fathead. No.
It's okay. I will send you. I wanted you to listen to O'Connor and Arnold today, but we don't have time, so I will send it to you, and you will listen to this tone hundreds of times, because that's the way you will get it, and you will see how the voice drops very low, because that's why it's called the low drop, right?
Okay.
But don't you worry, because this is practice and practice. So we know this may seem difficult and tricky.
Yes, I've always had problems with pitch, even in like secondary school and stuff. So it's okay. I know that I'm kind of bad.
Were you taught phonetics at school?
Excuse me.
Were you taught phonetics at school?
Not so much. Like the teacher taught us when you have like a word and has like an accent, the tonality, but it's some in certain words,
Very good.
but not in like whole sentences, just in like words. Because I sometimes I pronounce them like not so correctly, so she will like correct my pitch, but I always like kind of have problems with that.
Okay, so we will try to help you as long as we can. Maybe we could call it a day, and I will send you the PowerPoint and the audio for you to listen to. And let me know if is there any question you want to ask us? This is the moment.
Not really. To be phonetics too, it was actually very easy to follow. So thank you.
Thank you. Seba, would you like to say something?
No, thank you for all your patience.
Yeah. This is hard as hell, we know, but you will get it.
Okay.
Okay, so, bueno, anuncios preliminares, o parroquiales, mejor dicho, no sé por qué dije preliminares. Cuestión, bueno, vos ya nos conocés, que somos de Nexo y ble. Te queremos, si que estás interesada, queremos invitarte a nuestras reuniones que se dan los miércoles a las 7. Y estás invitada a todas las clases que quieras venir, aunque no estés cursando, no nos importa, queremos que haya gente y que todos aprendan por lo menos algo, y que cuando entres a la carrera la vas a romper, así que eso, está bueno tener una mirada general de las cosas. Y éxitos con el examen de ingreso.
Ay, gracias.
En fin, y bueno, cualquier cosa, creo que estás en los grupos, creo que tenés mi número, si no,
Sí.
nos puedes contactar y en fin, todo lo que ya sabes.